Well, guess what? It's Cruise Day, baby. I am here at a cruise port I've never been to before, Southampton in the UK. And, well, some things have transpired over the last 12 hours. Cruise news specifically that I have to tell you about. Have an update about the man who went overboard Wednesday on a Carnival cruise ship. I've got a couple of MSC cruise news stories. And I've got to tell you about the cruise port in Florida that has done poached a cruise ship and made it its own. And it caused a lot of people's cruises to get canceled. Torn between two lovers. That's what we're talking about on today's cruise news. Cruise news and my views. Let's talk about it. Now, normally this is where I would hit you with the hey, but something happened last night that I think is worthy to preempt the whole show. I've got a few things on my bucket list when I came to the UK this time, and one of them is to meet a couple cruise tube legends, and I was able to tick one of those tick boxes off last night when me and my frequent travel partner Don Terrace from Don's Family Vacations, well, we got to have coffee with the legend himself, Gary Benbridge from Tips for Travelers. Gary was kind enough to meet us over there at the Heathrow terminal. We had some coffee and we had a really great conversation. They say never meet your heroes in life. But Gary's definitely a hero in the cruise tube space. He's been doing it for a while, making great content that educates and informs. One of the best in the business. He's the man. He's the man that I think about when it comes to UK cruises. And of course, there's a woman I think about when it comes to UK cruising. Maybe later in this trip I'll get to meet her. But Gary, so great to meet him last night. And if you're unfamiliar with Tips for Travelers, you must be brand new. Make sure you go check that out. What a wealth of information. And let me share this with you. In addition to getting to hang out with Gary, I was pretty jet lagged yesterday, and I kind of deferred to getting some rest, getting some food, and waiting to explore London when I returned from this trip. And so I stopped at the very famous grab-and-go spot in Heathrow called Marks and Spencer. It's a famous spot all over the UK. They're famous for their grab-and-go stuff. But I just wanted to show you some of the food selections over there. The sandwich selections were mind-blowing. This whole section of cheese and onion, prawns and mayo, cucumber, cheese. You don't get that a lot in the U.S. I settled in with a nice BLT because I didn't want to be too adventurous last night, but more about this later. But yeah, so met the legend Gary Benbridge, ate at a fairly famous grab-and-go spot in the UK. And look, we probably should get to the hey-hey-heys, but one more thing that's kind of bugging me right now. Another saying that is out there is that not all heroes wear capes, which is to suggest that everyday people are heroes also. I just want to put this into the world. Most heroes don't wear capes. Like most real-life heroes, like most of the heroes that you see that are referred to as heroes that wear capes are fictional. So I don't even know why that's a saying. That saying kind of bothers me now. I don't know. I think it would be an abnormality for real-life heroes to wear a cape. So I don't even know why that's saying. It's like the whole Terminator paradox. But I guess we don't have time to get into it. Let's get to the hey-hey-heys. Here we go. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to La Lido Loca. I am your host, Tony, here to talk you through everything going on in cruising. And we'll do cruise news first, and then I'll give you an update for my day. It is 2:15 p.m. as I am recording this. I have gone through the embarkation process on the Regal Princess, but my day started in London. Again, I'll push that to the end. I'll show you a little bit of my cabin if you're interested in that, but I know many of you are here just for the cruise news. Let's start off with an update to the story I told you about yesterday. First-time cruiser on Carnival cruise ship that fell off of that cruise ship. Now, of course, every time we talk about somebody falling off a cruise ship, the debate rages, can you fall off a cruise ship? Can you not fall off a cruise ship? All we know in this scenario is that there is video of this man leaning on the rail of his balcony at 4:10 a.m. and then going over the rail of his balcony. So whether it'll ever be clarified if that's falling or not falling, that's essentially what's happening. But the update that I do have for you is that I said in the show yesterday that the Coast Guard had called off the search. That was incorrect. The called off Coast Guard was in connection to another overboard incident earlier in the week with the teenage boy that went over the Sunset Cruise cruise ship, a cruise boat, pirate boat. That search had been called off, but then officially, just a few hours ago, the search has been called off for the gentleman that went overboard on the Carnival cruise ship. The FBI is investigating. Of course, the travel partner of the gentleman who went overboard is describing the gentleman as a happy-go-lucky, somebody that wouldn't harm himself kind of deal. There's a GoFundMe, all that kind of stuff. So that story continues to develop, but the official thing that happened is that the Coast Guard has called off the search for that gentleman. So let's move from that sad news to some better news. A couple really good cruise news stories coming for MSC Cruises. The first is MSC Cruises has taken ownership of its latest cruise ship, the MSC Euribia. We talked about this cruise ship last week, how it will be the first net zero carbon emissions cruise ship. This could be a real game changer for the cruise industry, depending how this cruise ship does. And the MSC Euribia will be the final ship in the MSC Meraviglia class. So closing out that class, another class is already underway for MSC Cruises. And the handover of this cruise ship happened today from the shipyard Chantier de l'Antique in Nazir, France. A handover happened between them and MSC Cruises. Now, the handing over of the Euribia, not the only event for MSC today at the Chantier de l'Antique shipyard in Nazir, France. There also was the coin ceremony, part of the shipbuilding process, for the new MSC World America. The MSC World America will come into service in 2025. It is the third ship in this next class of MSC cruise ships. This ship, like its predecessors, will be powered by LNG, liquefied natural gas technology, and this ship will be focused on servicing the North American market. It's like beating a drum over here. MSC is coming for the world. They continue to make big investments in cruise ships in all of the major cruising areas. And it will be interesting to see whether these new cruise ships with their new technology will actually be able to grab some market share in North America. I know I've asked the question of you guys before, and it's been a mixed bag of response. Some people enjoy MSC Cruise Line, some people don't. But there will be more options to sample for those that are on the fence coming up soon. Congratulations, MSC, for both of these milestones. Now, I got to tell you about the cruise port that done went and poached a cruise ship from another cruise. It's very dramatic. I want to tell you all about it. Before I do that, let me quickly invite you to subscribe. If you like staying up to date with everything going on in cruising, well, please consider subscribing with the notification bell on. That way you don't miss out on any of the episodes. The subscribe button is just, if you're watching on your mobile device, it's just the button right under the window there. It doesn't cost anything. It allows you to be notified when the videos come out, and it helps me out. So please consider doing that. I would appreciate it. Thank you in advance. Well, the cruise port that we're talking about is none other than the seductive and sultry Port Canaveral there in Florida. Port Canaveral, now the busiest cruise ship in the world. It done usurped Miami for that title. And there's so much going on out of Port Canaveral, so much going on in those itineraries in the Caribbean, that Norwegian Cruise Line canceled the whole European winter season of the NCL Epic. We talked about that, just unexpectedly canceled that season. Well, it wasn't unexpected. They had eyeballs on Port Canaveral, so they're moving the NCL Epic over to Port Canaveral to service the massive throngs of cruisers that want to cruise out of that destination. The NCL Epic holds 4,100 guests. They did have cruises for Europe scheduled in December, going into early next year. All the people that were on those cruises have been notified that they have been cancellated with some sort of offer of sacrifice and, for their troubles. But now that's going to open up the Epic for a December 2023 sailing season. And they were supposed to come to Port Canaveral anyways next year, so NCL just moving the timetable up, trying to strike while the iron is hot and get some of that Port Canaveral Caribbean money. You can't blame them. The cruise companies are trying to do everything they can to be profitable. It really does suck that they had to cancel a bunch of people to make this possible. But there you go. So maybe not as dramatic as it could. Port Canaveral, it's not her fault that she's such a sexy cruise port. But yeah, NCL courting PC hard. How about that? So my epic 12-day British Isles cruise has begun. We have 8 port stops in a row until we get a sea day. And we've already done some stuff. We've checked into the cruise ship. We've gone to the muster drill. We've had lunch in one of the main dining rooms. We talked to the people at Shorex. We've hatched a crazy plan to get to Paris on our own. Hopefully we don't miss the cruise ship coming back. There's still some planning to do on that. It's so interesting. I already showed you earlier. I went to that market in Terminal 2 at Heathrow yesterday. I looked at all the sandwiches, and one of the sandwiches that caught my eye was the prawns and mayo sandwich. I've never had that. and I couldn't pull the trigger on it. I just got the BLT. I knew it was safe. But at lunch today, there was an option for, well, basically shrimp in an aioli, shrimp in mayo on top of avocado. So that's what I had as the appetizer. It was pretty good. Beef tenderloin for the main. It was good. And then an orange Grand Marnier souffle. It was good. The food's always good on Princess. Some good bread, a couple Diet Cokes, and the cruise is underway. Here's a quick 1-minute walkthrough of my cabin if you're interested in that. All right, I've made it to my cabin. Just figured I'd give you a real quick peek. Pretty standard fare, nice sized bed. What I really like is you've got like these 2 work areas, you know. Got a desk and a little area I could film from. Of course, you got the balcony out there. Currently, we are looking at Southampton. Never been here. This is exciting. Television. And then, this is kind of a hallmark of Princess. You have a separated closet area. You gotta keep it separated. And then bathroom facilities with a shower curtain. I guess I'm doing this whole little bit in the style of Cajun Man. What do you think? You like the digs? Could you stay in a cabin like this for 12 days? I think I'll be able to pull it off. We do sail away in a couple hours. I'm looking forward to that. And then tomorrow we go to Guernsey in the UK. I think we're going to a castle. We're going looking for crossbows. So that's the update. Hope everybody is doing great out there. Tony for La Lido Loca. And until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido.